You know that feeling when a buddy is about to drop a few $100 on a tool and you can't stop yourself from playing the reluctant friend advisor? I was exactly in that spot last week, sipping coffee while my neighbor was scrolling through endless air compressor listings, worried about ending up with something that either sputters on the job site or sits idle in the garage. He asked, "Is there a gas-powered compressor that's actually portable enough to haul to the job, but still gives me the muscle I need for a nail gun and a tire inflator?" I could hear the hesitation in his voice. He didn't want to spend money on a beast that would just gather dust, but he also didn't want a lightweight toy that would quit halfway through a day's work. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Ingersoll Rand SS3J5.5GK WB is the kind of machine that shows up in the middle of those maybe too much, maybe just right conversations. It's a 5.5 horsepower gas engine compressor with a 4-gallon steel tank, marketed as a portable workhorse. When you start digging into what portable really means for a gas unit, you quickly discover that the term is a mix of weight, handle design, and how the engine behaves when you're on uneven ground. This model weighs just under 200 pounds, and Ingersoll Rand has added a fold-down handle that makes it manageable on a truck bed or a rolling cart. If you've ever tried to push a 250-pound electric compressor up a set of stairs, you'll appreciate that the weight is on the lower side for a gas-powered unit with this amount of horsepower. Now, let's talk about the power you actually get when the engine fires up. The 5.5 horsepower motor delivers a maximum pressure of about 150 psi, which is plenty for most framing nailers, pneumatic impact wrenches, and even a small spray paint gun. In real-world use, the tank fills up in roughly 30 seconds once the engine hits its speed, so you're not waiting around for a long pump-up cycle before you can start a job. That quick fill time is a practical strength if you're on a job site where downtime translates directly into lost wages. I've seen contractors line up a couple of air-driven tools, fire up the compressor, and have a steady stream of air for a full hour before the tank pressure dips low enough to need a quick refuel. For a hobbyist who only needs to inflate bike tires or run a small nail gun in the garage, the same rapid pressurization feels overkill, but it certainly eliminates any not enough pressure anxiety. One of the things that often trips people up with gas compressors is starting the engine. The Ingersoll Rand uses a classic pull starter, but the crank is calibrated so that you don't need a Herculean yank. In practice, after a few pulls the engine catches, and because the unit has a low oil shutdown feature, it protects itself if you forget to add oil before a quick start. That kind of easy starting design is a hidden trade-off. You get convenience, but you also inherit the need for regular oil checks, something that's easy to forget if you only run the compressor once a month. If you're the sort of user who can keep a maintenance log, that's a non-issue. If you're more of a set-it-and-forget-it type, you'll need a reminder system. Durability is where Ingersoll Rand tries to justify the price tag. The crankcase and tank are cast iron, giving the machine a long-lived feel that you'd expect from a brand that's been in the industrial space for decades. The 2-year warranty available as an add-in covers the engine and the tank, which adds a layer of confidence if you're planning to use it in harsh environments, like a construction site with dust and temperature swings. That warranty isn't a guarantee the unit will never need service, but it does mean you're not stuck with a $400 repair bill after a year of regular use. Now, no tool is perfect, and the SS3J5.5GK WB has its practical weaknesses. The 4-gallon tank is modest, and while it fills fast, it will run out of air sooner than a larger 8 or 10-gallon counterpart during continuous high CFM tasks. If you're planning a full day of spray painting a deck, you'll find yourself stopping to let the tank recover more often than you'd like. Noise is another factor. Gas engines inherently roar louder than their electric siblings, and this model sits at about 80 dB at the operator's ear, comparable to a lawn mower. That level of sound is tolerable for outdoor work, but it can become a nuisance if you're in a residential area or a closed garage. Finally, fuel consumption is something to keep in mind. At idle, the engine sips roughly half a gallon per hour, and that climbs as you demand more air. For someone who only needs occasional bursts of air, the ongoing cost of gasoline can erode the upfront savings you thought you were making. So, who should actually consider buying this?